Hi, Andy XL back with another NFXL podcast, and 2 days to go to the NFL draft now. Another related piece to that and a preview. And let's have a look. Yesterday, I came and looked at what would happen or could happen. What were the options stood for the teams? Were the first 20 picks in this year's draft? Now I'm going to look at the late back end of round one. And the first message is we should expect late round one trades. In the six drafts that have taken place in this decade, 31 of the 72 picks between number 21 and 32 in the first round have been traded. That's roughly 40% or five per draft. Now, if you think about it, that's completely logical when you consider that the teams with late round one picks will generally be the ones that come into a draft as the better teams with the most complete rosters. As a result, they may have only two or three positional needs and may be best able to fill those needs by trading up to get their man or trading down with needier teams trying to get a late round one pick as opposed to an early round two. Three of the final 12 picks in this draft had already been traded as part of previous trade deals. The Jags gave up pick 24 to Cleveland as part of the getting Travis Hunter in last year's draft. The Rams ceded pick 29 to the Chiefs to get Trent McDuffie, and Denver traded the 30th pick to the Dolphins to get Jalen Waddle. So we might expect at least another two or three of these late round picks to be traded to or on, sorry, before or on draft day. So let's have a look at these picks then. So pick 21 belongs to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Well, nothing's clear here. This is all about Aaron Rodgers, which seems to be how Rodgers loves it every off season. Despite the Steelers telling him they wanted a decision on his return before the draft, it seems no decision is imminent. So, what do the Steelers do in terms of a quarterback in this draft? Do they spend pick 21 on a quarterback, which would probably be Ty Simpson? Or do they carry out the draft on the basis they are confident Rodgers will eventually deign to sign with them? I don't know how this happens every year. He ends up with a team dangling on a string waiting for his decision. I really don't think it's very good for him, if I'm honest. It's not fair on the team, but they're all that keen to retain him or re sign him that he gets away with it every year. I just don't think it's good behaviour. But anyway, let's move on. Apart from quarterback, interior O lineman or slot receiver might be on the Steelers' agenda with this pick. But if Spencer Fano and Vega Ione are off the board at this point, that leaves them only quarterback or slot receiver. If it is a slot receiver they may be choosing, between Omar Cooper and Kevin Casey Concepcion, as it's likely Mackay Lemon will have gone by this point. Indeed, one of the other two may also have gone. Indeed, both of them might have gone. In truth, regardless of whether the 40 plus Rodgers returns, the Steelers need a quarterback for beyond next season. So they may go quarterback here anyway. But I do not think Simpson is ready to start this season. So the Steelers may look to add a quarterback via a trade if Rodgers does not return. Let's throw a few names out there. Mac Jones, Anthony Richardson, Jacoby Brissett, if he doesn't get his extension with Arizona. But I anticipate the Steelers to use this pick on Simpson at quarterback or a slot receiver. So pick 22 is the Los Angeles Chargers. Now the Chargers are a team with very few needs as described in regards to teams who might be happy to trade out of a late round first pick. Edge seems to be their biggest need. The secondary may be another area to look at, or even the O line. There are half a dozen edge guys that they might consider in this area of the draft, four secondary candidates, and three or four O linemen. As a result, the Chargers are likely to use this pick on the one they want from those areas rather than trade it. So I'm not going to go into the names, but edge, secondary, or O lineman is what I expect the Chargers to do there, and there's plenty around that area of the draft. Pick 23 belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles. Edge or safety are what the Eagles may well be looking for with this pick. As with the Chargers, they are likely to have a bunch of edge candidates to choose from, whilst they may hope Dylan Thieneman, the Oregon safety, drops to them here. That's unlikely though. So if not, Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo might be their option at safety if he's not gone as well. So that's the Eagles' options at 23. Pick 24, the Cleveland Browns. I have the Browns choosing between edge and wide receiver with their first pick at number 6 in this draft. So they have the option to address the one they did not cover with that pick here, or maybe even go for Ty Simpson at quarterback if the Steelers did not take him. Chicago Bears, pick 25. Safety, cornerback, slot receiver, and offensive tackle mean the Bears have a range of options with this pick. Will the top three safeties have gone by this point, or is there a cornerback left that they like? If they really like one of the candidates to bolster their secondary, they could even look to trade up to get them. The Jets might be a willing partner at 16, for instance. Similar questions apply read the slot receivers. Will there be any left by this pick? And do the Bears like what is left, possibly Kevin Concepcion? There are two or three offensive tackles that may well be available to the Bears here, though. So unless they trade up to get a safety cornerback or slot guy, they may still get they may still get sorry, they may still stick here and have the option to take an offensive tackle. 26, Buffalo Bills. Edge, inside linebacker, and guard are what the Bills may be looking for with this pick, and it is entirely possible the best of the bunches at these positions may have gone by pick 26. That makes the Bills a candidate to trade out of round one back into the early part of round two, where they will be able to take a good candidate at one of those positions. Say Chase Bizontis or Emmanuel Pregnon at guard, CJ Allen, Jake Rodriguez, or Anthony Hill at inside linebacker, with another 4 or 5 edge candidates from that talent-rich positional class also available early in round two. Excuse my croaky throat. Unless a player they like and need drops to them at pick 26, I can certainly have the Bills listening to calls from early round two teams looking to move up to get a guy they like. 27, that pick belongs to the San Francisco 49ers. Offensive line and edge look to be the most likely fits for this pick for the 49ers. So maybe one of the offensive tackles in this area, Caleb Lomu, Maxi Ihenacho, for instance, or as I keep repeating myself, any number of the number of talented edge guys, depending which one they like. Pick 28, the Houston Texans. O-line, D-line, or edge, again, for the Texans, is how I see it here. Given the O-line issues that plagued them last season, the pressure to address that may be overwhelming. So the same offensive tackles mentioned re the 49ers may be in play here for the Texans. If so, would they call the Bills to jump ahead of San Fran to get the one they want? Possible. Pick 29 belongs to the Kansas City Chiefs. Assuming the Chiefs do not give up this pick to move up from 9 to get to pick 4 or 5, as I hinted at earlier in my earlier draft options piece, they may have cornerback, safety, wide receiver, and edge on their mind. That is going to be a case of what is left at these positions, and do the Chiefs like any of those left, or trade up to make sure they get them. If they don't and like what is left, they can use that pick to get them. If no, they could be another team happy to trade back. So the trade up or trade back is both in play here for the Chiefs. That's if they've not already traded this pick away. Very complicated, I know, but it's later you get in this draft. It's the what happened earlier scenarios. So one other possible here, though, is if the Panthers didn't take tight end Kenyon Sadiq, he may have well slid to a point where he's absolute steal at 29 and could be the heir apparent to Travis Kelce. So that's another one I've thrown out there. Pick 30 belongs to the Miami Dolphins. No team, apart from maybe Cleveland and possibly Tennessee, has as many needs as the Dolphins. So they may have to use every pick they have in this draft and use them well. With pick 11, I had them looking at edge, safety, cornerback, or wide receiver. Same again here, minus whichever they addressed at pick 11. So on to the New England Patriots at 31. O-line, D-line, edge, or even tight end might be on the Patriots to-do list for this pick. This may not be the best spot for an O-lineman though, and tight end only comes into the equation if Kenyon Sadiq has somehow not been taken. So it may be defensive tackle or edge for the Patriots, although there are some offensive tackles around there as well if they choose to go that route. But I see the Patriots using this pick, and like I say, if Sadiq somehow manages to get to them, I know they've got Hunter Henry, but he's getting up there in age now, and Sadiq would be the long-term solution on a young, improving team. Right, 32 belongs to the Seattle Seahawks. With running back, guard, and possibly nickelback being what the reigning champions are looking for with their first pick, this isn't the spot to be looking for those positions. Jadarian Price could be a really nice fit for them as a Kenneth Walker replacement at running back. So the Seahawks draft strategists may well be working out how far they could risk trading back into round 2 and still be able to get him. But for any of the positions they need, somewhere between 36 and 44 might be a good spot to trade back to. Of course, they could just say, what the heck, and take Price or say Chase Bizontes at guard with this pick. So that's the 32 first round picks and the team's options. What about the teams without a first round pick? There are 6 teams who will currently be just observers on day 1, but what are their options apart from, trying to trade back up into round 1, which obviously the further down you get into round 2 will come at a greater cost. But the first team who don't have a first round pick are the Cincinnati Bengals, who now join the party at 41, having given up their first round pick to get sexy. You know what I mean? The Bengals will be looking for edge or nickelback here. In all likelihood, it will be another of the talented edge guys that finds his way to Cincy with pick 41. Or they trade up. 47, Indianapolis Colts. Mid-round 2 sees the Colts join the party with safety, inside linebacker and wide receiver being on their dance card. The second round is a bit of a dead spot for safeties in this draft, so it may well be inside linebacker or wide receiver that gets addressed by the Colts with this pick. 48, the Falcons join the Atlanta Falcons. They follow the Colts through the door and onto the dance floor at pick 48, and they may be scoping for a wide receiver they like the look of, or maybe an inside linebacker. 52, Green Bay Packers. Okay, Cheeseheads, it's your turn. Edge or interior lineman may be the type you're looking to hook up with on this speed dating night. 56, the Jacksonville Jaguars. The penultimate team to take their turn are the Jags. If Jadarian Price is still there, somehow he's got past the Seahawks, the Jags will, and others possibly, the Jags will leap on him. If not, they might go inside linebacker safety, or guess what? Edge might be on the top of their list. 62, the final team to join the draft will be currently scheduled to be the Denver Broncos, and the long wait will be over at the end of round 2. Well, they will hope a safety tight end, edge or guard has fallen to them. AJ Horsey or Bud Clark at safety, Eli Stowers at tight end, Pregnon or Kalen Rutledge at guard. And given the level of demand for edge rushers, the Broncos may actually be joining this draft when the well is beginning to run dry at that position. So they may be able to get one of the very last good ones late in round 2. So they're all the options at the end of round 1 and for the teams without a round 1 pick. Like I say, just 2 days to go now till we find all the answers. I'm going to come back with one pre-draft piece tomorrow where I'm going to have a look at the impact of a couple of things. I've already hinted at one of them in here, the Aaron Rodgers situation in Pittsburgh, and also how does that Dexter Lawrence trade to Cincinnati, how that might shake up round 1. Both of those, how does it affect round 1, and could it change team strategies as to what in terms of trading up, trading down, etc. So I'm going to have a quick look at that in tomorrow's piece, and then on draft day you'll get my first. I don't know, somewhere between 65, top 65 and top 75. It's basically going to be all the players I think have got a chance of going on day 1 in the first round of this draft. So I'll give you that list on draft day itself, obviously before the draft gets underway, so you've got some warning of it. So that will be coming up in the next couple of days. So not long till we have to find the answers. Now, as I say, all the anticipation and excitement reaches its climax. So stay tuned to me and you'll get the best idea of what's going to happen in this year's draft. See you later.